Okay, Kevin, appreciate your time. We now know that the Steelers have traded Antonio Brown to the Raiders for a third-round and a fifth-round pick. You were very clear from the get-go a trade would only take place if it benefited the Steelers. How does this benefit the Steelers short-term and long-term?
Well, again, when we had our discussions with Antonio and his representation, Drew Rosenhaus, we talked about we were willing to look into making a trade, but we were specific that the trade would only be made if we felt it was beneficial to the Pittsburgh Steelers. When we were able to get a third-round pick and a fifth-round pick, particularly where those picks were, the third and fifth picks put together gives us 4 picks in the top 83 when we include our own third-round pick, and it gives us 10 picks overall in a draft that we think it's a draft that's beneficial to have as many picks as you can get.
Was there any consideration of keeping him in Pittsburgh and making him play through the rest of his contract?
That was stated from the beginning when we spoke to him. And again, Drew, we said, listen, if we do this, it'll only be because we think it's beneficial. So obviously in making the move, we think this will be beneficial to our team.
Can you take me through the process and how and why the Raiders were the right fit in being the right trading partner for the Steelers?
Well, once it was known that we were in agreement that we would look into this trade, we began to not only receive calls, we made a few calls of our own just on teams that we identified as potential targets for this move. And once we had discussions with several teams, we were able to get some offers. We had, we requested that those offers be made by last Friday so that we could look at them, compare them, and ultimately decide which one we felt would be best.
So once you guys are okay with their compensation, then his representation was allowed to talk to them. So do you have to wait for them to figure things out before you guys can okay it again?
Well, see, any player in the National Football League, if he gets traded, he has to show up and take a physical with his new team. If he doesn't do that, then that player reverts back to whoever traded him.
Okay.
And again, we were always comfortable with the fact that Antonio, if he came back to us, I mean, he was still a significant player, that we would be fine with that. But again, we always measured what the compensation would be if we got him versus not having the player. So again, the 2 picks that we got, especially in this draft, we felt would benefit us in the long run.
Okay, now in terms of what he brought to the field, what he brought to this team, how do you start to fill that void?
That's something that will be determined over time. I mean, Antonio Brown's a significant player, but we also, again, we feel good about the ability to not replace him, but to benefit our team with the extra picks that we could have moving forward.